So, if you were to name your top 10 or top five, let's even just do four or five, what do you think your friends and colleagues would name as their top 4 to 5 stressors? What would be those top ones that would come out? Now, I want you to think about your students or the children that you work with, or maybe your children. If you were to name their top 4 to 5 stressors, what would those be? If you were to look at the list, it's probably a pretty different list. So, there's a lot that we are going to talk about and how we can offer tools and resources and connections to support ourselves first and then to support others around us. We know that stress is a given. And here you see a picture of the biosphere. Now, if you're not aware of what the biosphere is, it was a place where they have created a atmosphere where they're trying to recreate what it would be like on Earth. And back in the 1970s was the first biosphere, and now they've created biospheres too. So it's a scientific project, and they're studying different parts of nature within this biosphere. So, what they kept noticing though is that when the trees in the biosphere would get to a certain height, they would then fall over. They didn't know why. Why were these trees falling over? And then researchers discovered that there was a lack of wind, that in some level, wind helped the trees to develop a strong root system. And trees need some resistance to develop the necessary resilience to help them stand strong in those future storms. So stress, very similarly, can help us. We don't avoid stress, and some stress can even make us stronger. When we can reframe our stress in healthy ways when it gets overwhelming, we can then know what gives us strength and then what can help us to face the stressors in our life. We can focus on strengths. So, some of the things that can give us a little way to complete that stress cycle, to move through. And there was some on that diagram of the stress cycle that you can do. But here's some other ways too that you can complete your stress cycle. Physical activity is one of the best ways to do it. We talked about breathing. We did a little breathing exercise to move through our stress. Positive social interactions, so finding positive people that you can hang out with, positive friends. Laughter, so laughter, even watching laughter or recalling a joke. I don't know about you, but I like to go on TikTok and find those dad joke videos. That kind of relieves some of my stress. Affection, giving somebody a 20-second hug can help relieve some of the stress. A big old cry, just relieving the stress within our body through our tears and crying. And then creative expression, writing, journaling, cooking, baking, gardening, all of these things can fill our soul. I like to call them soul snacks because just by taking the time out to do one or two of these throughout our day can really help us move through our stress cycle and fill our soul. So, how do you know when you have completed that stress cycle? You can feel it. You can feel that shift in your mood. You can feel a shift in your mental state. And you can feel that release of that physical tension. I don't know about you, but if you've ever had somebody give you a hug and then you just melt into that hug, or you've had a child that you're hugging and all of a sudden you can just feel them melt into you, that's that release of physical tension. So, what can you do to create a pause? I've created a worksheet for you that you can download and take some time to just really think about. How can you create a pause in your day? What are those things that you can tap into that's going to help you work through your stress cycle?